right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to What You Gotta Say
What you
podcast.
gotta say?
I'm your boy DJ Woo Beats,
And I'm Jawan, no cool name.
and we got a special guest in the building today. We got Christina Cousins.
Yes.
Give it up for Christina
We got the infamous wellness advocate. I have to say this correctly, y'all, because apparently I was calling her peer support specialist, and that is not the correct title. Now we're gonna set the stage clear. We have Miss Christina Cousins, who is a peer support specialist, and we brought her in here today because I want to follow up from my conversation with Dr. Pam, and really just looking at what the wealth advocates do, and get her take on it. And that way, some of you guys who may be looking at doing this in the future as a job, because you see we have some listings already open, you can kind of get a first-hand experience of what the job is like and what it entails, and if this is something you may want to do in the future. So, Christina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
So, I guess to start off the questions, what made you even want to be a wellness advocate?
So it was about a year and a half so I was 20, spent 28 years in active addiction myself, and I got clean in February 22nd of 22. And I spent the first year just working on myself through a lot of volunteerism. And as I got further into that in Saginaw, a lot of that's helping, the homeless, volunteering at the soup kitchen, doing whatever first ward needed. And I was also at Emmaus House of Saginaw, which is a sober living, which is very active in the Saginaw community. And I got into that, and I realized there's a lot of recovery coaches out there, but not everyone's in it for the right reasons. And one of the things that helped me get clean was somebody doing the same thing that I'm doing now in the same position at the same hospital.
Okay.
And that hospital didn't have that anymore.
What?
And one of my favorite places to volunteer was Women of Color. So this position came up, and I overthought, and I was doubted myself a lot, but a lot of people supported me, and I kind of just went for it. And it's been a long journey and a process, a lot of healing. It's helped me in more ways I sometimes feel than I help other people, but I'm learning that's a give and take with this job. That happens. It helps my recovery, helping other people's recovery. And it's just something that I've discovered I love doing, and I'm pretty good at it.
It gotta be amazing to watch you come from that same place that you see other people in and really help them out of that situation. Like, talk a little bit about that. Like, some of the give me, like, if you got an example of something that you feel like, okay, there was like a full circle moment for you.
So what a lot of we call them frequent flyers in the healthcare system, people that go in and out of the system seeking treatment. And a lot of them, when I first started the hospital, they would throw things, they would get angry, they would just be not willing to talk or be open. But now a lot of them come to me, when I'm out walking around the hospital, and I see a lot of my job deals more with harm reduction than abstinence, but I do see an improvement with a lot of those people, in their body language, their interactions with other people. When I do go out to places like the soup kitchen, they're getting into helping more people and bettering themselves and getting out of the abandoned houses and from underneath the bridge. And, it's a process, but it's a beautiful process.
Yeah, I've always been a firm believer that, like, experiences don't mean nothing if you don't learn from them. And then the fact that you're able to learn from them and then teach others, like, that makes your experience and everything that you went through even more powerful. And I think that's why more people gravitate to you when you're out walking around, because, it's easy for some dude with a degree to come in, or some lady with a degree to come in and try to help somebody, but you don't know my path, you don't know my struggle, but yet alone you're trying to tell me how to walk this line that you've never even walked and came out of. So that's why I feel like, that lived experiences that you have, that you're able to offer to others, is just very powerful. And, I'm super happy. I've seen your whole process, at least when you started from Women of Color to where you're at now, and it's just been amazing to see the growth and the fact that you're able to do that to others. We need some more of you around here. So
Thank you. And a lot of what I do based on that lived experience, I don't really try to give hardcore advice or tell people what to do. I I use those open-ended questions to get to what all areas of their life, what that looks like, and help them work through their own problems all on their own. And a lot of my patients and the people that I see outside in the community, they talk themselves into it. I plant seeds. That's what I'm a seed planter.
Yeah.
And I may not get to see the fruition of those seeds, but I can point them in directions of people who will help those seeds grow further. And it gets a little more and a little more. And when that light turns on, it's just beautiful no matter who gets to see it.
You stated earlier that you're in the business of not really for abstinence, but more for harm reduction. What did you mean essentially by that?
So I like with the frequent flyer situation.
Yeah.
And I know from personal experience, I walked in and out of recovery so many times, but I got a little bit farther each time. So in those early stages when you start planning the idea of recovery in somebody, that's more to do with harm reduction. And it's existing with some person through the mess. Letting them just being ear to listen and start eliminating those barriers.
Yeah.
And reducing the risk they're taking, like pointing them towards needle exchanges. There are hotlines out there nowadays where you can call up somebody safe to be on the phone and use if you're alone. Okay. So if something happens, they can call the ambulance, but as long as they keep talking, and that builds a sense of security and helps foster hope that there are people out there that care, that this is possible. Yeah. And then I always use my own experience wherever they are or experience of other recovered addicts that have stable, recovery as examples to let them know, like, I know people have been to prison, been in jail, been through the dirt, and this is where they are today. This is what I do today. To give them hope for themselves and keep that hope alive.
I like that.
No matter how many times you keep relapse doesn't have to be a part of somebody's story, but it is.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't be any judgment or shame with the stigma around that.
Yeah.
We're human.
Yeah.
We fall short of a lot of things, and that's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. The main thing is just, like you say, keep pushing forward. That's the thing. A lot of people, we all have crazy backgrounds, but the ones that make it out of it are the ones who essentially just never quit and just keep pushing. Yeah. And then the fact that you're there to basically build that bridge and connection to resources that they may not even know that's available, I think that's, something powerful that wellness advocates offer to the, people in need. It's crazy because you see sometimes they may not even know they're in need and know what's available, and you're just that, scared with that little bit of information to them.
Now, what happens, realistically, what happens if they relapse or just fall short in some areas and stuff like that? What's something that you guys do to?
So we have a follow-up care system, and it's usually 7 days, 30 days, 60 days. But with a lot of the patients that are willing to keep up with me, and I do have a few patients like that, I talk to them every week. And when I hear the relapse, well, hey, you're still talking to me though, so you still obviously want some kind of hope. And I keep that hope alive for them. I keep them positive and working towards goals, not necessarily drug related, but eliminating again those barriers, those external factors.
You guys probably get a lot of that, huh? Like a lot of people who head there, but mentally they know, or physically they're not there. Yeah. That's great.
That's usually, so working in an ER, that's usually where our patients, that's where their headspace primarily is. They have no hope for themselves. They're spiritually dead inside. They feel like they belong there. And stigma in society and the stuff that's not okay.
I was saying, they want to do better. They want to better themselves and get clean and do all that, but it's like the environment and stuff is hindering them from all of that. And I know that's what I was saying. I feel like it's a lot of that, going on, and you guys deal with a lot of that. Is there like a second step program for that, or you guys just kind of do repetitive work?
I mean, there's a lot of a lot of outsourcing to different resources around. Like there's FAN. They have a lot of funding to help people in situations with like transportation and stuff, and then family member support. And then we have Hope Not Handcuffs. They facilitate the transportation, and sometimes they can find different areas for holding between placements for me. And there's a lot of people within the 12-step recovery community in Saginaw that are just willing to offer support whatever I need for my clients to make it to the next step. Because usually it's me, and then they go to treatment, and then recovery housing, and then on their own. But there are a lot of that in between spaces. It's kind of like custom fit for every person.
Yeah, there's no, I guess, cookie cutter path for every person. When you look at like some of the people you, I guess, help through the process, what's I guess a story that stands out to you or an individual?
Um, my most recent patient, actually, I got her off to rehab yesterday. She came in on Monday, and she had been clean for over 22 years. And she is somebody that I knew in the recovery community that had fallen short.
Mm.
But she fell off for a couple of years and kind of lost that hope with a lot of the guilt and the shame around relapse, especially after a lot of time in sustainable recovery.
Yeah.
And once I got to talking to her and she recognized me and knew me from outside in the recovery community, like I started seeing a lot of her own recovery programs she had before come back.
Oh.
And then after that, it was like she was 2 steps ahead of me on the whole process. Like she just bing, bang, boom.
So she just jumped right back into,
Yeah.
her recovery mode.
Sure.
Wow. It's crazy. So she was able to rebound faster just because she had that active background of helping people through recovery. Mm-hmm. So she was able to but she was off. You said she was 22 years sober, and then she went on a hiatus for a couple of years.
2 years. Yeah.
Yep, and then was able to I wonder what made her decided to get back on recovery and, kick everything she was doing.
Because no matter how long or short you have in recovery, if you've had previous recovery, every time you relapse, that recovery doesn't go away. It's still those things you learn, those principles, those values, that willingness, that open-mindedness, that honesty, that self-awareness.
Yeah,
it's
still
somewhere
there. That core is still there. Yep.
And
it's just suppressed.
Yep. So when you have a massive amount of clean time like that, that's all right there. And when you relapse, it's uncomfortable. Using's not fun anymore in any way, shape, or form. So you'll guilt yourself right back into the program if you allow it to work for you.
That's crazy. So that long. You got any more questions?
No, she was answering everything before I could even. She was on it.
I'm more curious about how you balance, I guess, companionship and then also keep the boundaries, because you're getting so close to some of these individuals, and you have to also maintain a professional standpoint while also being empathetic to everything that's going on around them and to them. Like, how do you not take that home with you?
I have a pretty well structured recovery foundation of my own, and I have a great group of really close friends that make sure, because I can isolate and I can stay in recovery work mode all day long, but then we do fun things.
Yeah.
We take trips down the river, we go camping, we go fishing, we do random things all year long to make sure that's my self-care. That's my time. That's me working on myself.
Okay, good.
And then I have my own, I'm in a 12-step fellowship where I work my own program consistently to make sure I keep myself and my recovery front and center.
I like that. I like that. Now this kind of makes me wonder, because while you were talking, I was thinking about that lady with 22 years. When someone relapses after 22 years, I guess, what does hope look like at that point? Because you go 22 years sober, and then you
22 years sober with a good recovery program. That hope looks like I know it works.
Yeah.
Because they tell you in a lot of the recovery literature, the only way you fail is if you're not working a rigorous program. And you hear a lot of people come back from a relapse that have had stable recovery before tell you when as soon as they stop going to meetings, stop hanging out with their recovery people and lost those connections, that's when the recovery program went out the window. But they know if they follow the program, we know 100% fact it works if you work it.
That's that saying where they say birds of a feather flock together, and they say you are the company you keep. So if you stay with recovery, I mean that's what you got more people that's gonna hold you accountable in that circle versus you go back. And that's crazy because like when I teach Prime for Life, because I teach drug prevention training to individuals like in juvenile centers or TRICAT places like that, and I've always told them like, hey, you want to get out of this program, but you're gonna go back and do the same thing and expect a different result. You already know what the definition of that is.
Yes.
So it's like, why put yourself in a situation where you just set yourself up? It's just like,
and their pathways are wide and varied because it doesn't have to be a 12-step program. There's a lot of all pathway programs right here in Saginaw. There's a lot of recovery related different churches and organizations, and there are a lot of different pathways. So just keep trying them all until you find the one that fits, and then keep that connection.
And then to go back to, I don't know her name, but
Christina.
No, not Christina, the lady. You kind of didn't say her name, but the lady who was sober for 22 years and then relapsed or whatever. It probably was easy for her too because she already. It's like I done did it for 22 years. I can bounce right back. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's possible.
22 years is a long time to be, clean and just to fall off completely.
The hardest part of a relapse is just admitting that you messed up and now I have to get back. But once you get over that hurdle, it's smooth sailing because you know it works.
Yeah.
That acceptance piece.
You have to be willing to let it work.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that was amazing how she did that one though. 22 years and then just do that and then bounce right back though. Like How long you said it was a year or
2 years?
2 years. Okay. Yeah.
So coming from a lived experience, how do you go from feeling, I guess, being judged to being seen?
It's been a learning curve because I've had recovery in my past, but never more than like 6 months. And this time, I have over close to 4.5 years of sustained recovery. And the further I get into it, the further I guess I'm exposed to the community. And it's a whole new ballgame. It's everything, even this is like brand new.
Yeah. So it's just, you have basically that essentially that support around you where people are, seeing you kind of like how Woman of Colors, I guess, seeing you like, hey, she putting in that work. That makes sense. Yeah, because I always feel like when you're coming from recovery, like you said, a lot of people feel judged and feel like obviously some people be like, oh, you're a failure, but no, you're just a person going through something that may need a little bit of help. And some people don't understand that. And that's another big reason why I think having a wealth advocate is huge and important and why we need them out in the community. And like you said, that's what got you out of the darkness because you had a good wealth advocate. Yeah. And I've worked with another person that we're going to have on next week. Y'all stay tuned. And she light up a room too, just like you do. So like, I feel like what kind of personality should a wealth advocate have when they're looking to, do this job?
You have to be kind of an extrovert. You have to be outgoing, and you have to have a good recovery program at the end of the day because we can only keep what we have by being willing to give it away. That's the only way I get to stay clean.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day is the core because I've known absolute introverts, at the Midland Hospital. That are the exact top personality as me and my other half at my hospital. And they do just as good of a job.
Really?
You just have to be open-minded, willing to do the work and give it away.
Man, is there any kind of, I guess, training that's qualified or certification that's qualified to become a wellness advocate? Obviously, outside of experiences.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great experience, but
So a lot of us have there's a 5-day recovery coach training through it's offered through CCAR and through MDHHS.
Okay.
And then my job now qualifies under Project Assert.
Yeah.
So there's a 5-day training for that's required.
Okay.
And then eventually I will be state certified as a recovery coach.
Oh, is that additional testing, or is that just a cumulative of everything you've done so far?
That is additional.
Oh, okay. So you still got a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that like a 2-year process?
No, they're each 5-day trainings.
Yeah.
And you can complete them at any time in your own time.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
certification.
once you have the state certification, it's a 5-day training. And then about 2 weeks after that training, you take the state test.
Okay.
And when you pass after that, you have to keep up continuing education. I think it's 32 hours.
Okay.
Half can be in person, half can be virtual training. And you have to have an ethics class, and then you have 2 years to complete that before the next certification to keep your certification active.
Okay.
And how long is the state registration? How long is that?
It's a 5-day training.
5-day training, yeah, to get certified.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
On top of the.
And then you got to go to Lansing and take the big state test.
Yeah.
At the end of that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's way easier, I think, than getting like a big old degree or one of those 6-month certificate programs.
Yeah, and the emphasis on the continuing the emphasis for that is the continuing education, because like our ethics training, you do that. Then you first run a certification, it's just a basic ethics, but then every certification after there is like an ethics 2, ethics 3, and the program's constantly revamped based on other peers throughout the state and throughout the country, problems we face, because everything changes and evolves.
Adjusting should be in the job description for sure.
And our job is based mostly off of our strength lies in our lived experience, not in the school knowledge, because that's been tried. And it's kind of like a dual combination. We have the doctors and the nursing staff that we work with. They have the book knowledge. We have the lived experience. And so on our end of it.
Yeah, I like that. Pretty cool. When you look at your experiences, I guess, what do people often get wrong when they look at, I guess, recovery or addiction? Like, what's some things that you've seen that they've just misinterpreted?
A lot of it's funny. A lot of people I work with, and including the patients that I serve, they don't realize that I was at one time an addict.
Oh.
And they're kind of shocked by the actual lived experience factor when I share, because like my job as well is part of that is eliminating that stigma. That's the people I work with and the people that I serve.
Yeah. So
other addicts seeking recovery can get treated better, and that can sometimes be a barrier.
I'm wondering, so how does that come across when you, obviously, if they don't know you're coming from addiction, they come up to you and you over here trying to give them advice and be like, girl, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know my life. You don't know my fables. Get out my face.
I always like to start out.
Like, you don't even know.
I always like to start out with, just because you know me by now, I'm pretty calm and unbothered by a lot of stuff. So I always just smile sweetly and say, oh, and I was getting clean. And then I just have to hold it all together when the reaction goes across their face.
Like, you talking about clean? Because, like, if I would have never known. Yeah, like, what you talking about cleaning? I know you're talking about this. Like, when I met you, I never thought in a million years that you was coming from recovery. And I'm just like, oh. And then, like, I saw what you posted on Facebook, your story, and I was just like, dang, this is crazy. And it got a lot of hits on there. I'm at the point people to the right direction. But yeah, that was just powerful. Just your recovery story, and then the fact that you're out here helping people, and then you realize your recovery. I mean, that's a testament to how well you're doing. But
you kind of live for that moment, huh?
I kind of do, because I'm now that I've jumped on the recovery bandwagon, I'm starting to realize the program I follow is okay, but at the same point, like we need to speak up, because a lot of people don't know. That's how stigma has gotten to be what it is.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that I have opportunities like this to speak out and tell people what it's really about, and who I am, and my story is how that's gonna help them.
Now we got to do the What was one of your worst days and one of your best days as a recovery coach? Because I know you have some, and that's what we need to know. You know, both ends of the spectrum.
Some of my worst days, a couple months ago, I had about 6 patients in a whole day, and I'd say all 5 of them AMA'd after I spent some time and thought I had them.
What's AMA for people who may not know?
Leaving against medical advice.
Oh,
so
okay.
they just leave.
And this is after you've talked to them. Wow.
And I struggle with that a lot, and those are my worst days when that happens, because it's really hard not to take it personal.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, it took as many times as it needed to take. Relapse can be, but it isn't always. So you got to meet people where they're at and not take things like that personally. But a lot of it, you go home at the end of the day and you second guess everything that you did or what you could have done, or, but at the end of the day, there's only 1.5 of me in that whole hospital system. Oh. And I'm not for everybody. And I have to learn. I have to have a lot of acceptance in that. Yeah. But those are my worst days.
Geez, 6 in one day to just, you go back to the room and like, where is Tamala? And you be like, Tamala left. I don't know where I got that name from.
Like Tamala is like,
Tamala checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you also got to think that you can't take, like you said, everything personally, because you got to help those that want to be helped. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how I would feel after that kind of day, but you keep moving forward. That's all you really can do, because somebody's gonna need that help and want it. Yeah. So, I guess what's one of your proud days or best days you've had?
One of my best days. So I had this other client. This is recent. I'd say about 3 weeks or so. But before that, I had been dealing with him for a month or 2.
She smiled.
He AMA'd on me.
Wait,
he was aggressive. He got escorted out by security a few times. Like, he went through it, and I was with him every step of the way. But the last time he came in, something changed. So, like, our interactions, he had more focus, more drive, was more stable. Damn. And then I was able to facilitate having him a safe place to stay before rehab. I contacted another agency and did transportation and went on a ride along and escorted him into rehab. And, he's still doing good. He's about to complete his rehab program. That's awesome. And come back to Saginaw. He's super excited about that. He wants to meet some of my recovery network outside of the recovery community. And I've kind of built a relationship with his support network. They've been leaning heavily on me to know how to help him, how to best help him, which honestly is just being there and existing with somebody through it, but also respecting and protecting your own boundaries within that. So, because it can be hard to love somebody and keep that distance at the same time. Yeah. But it's been a beautiful relationship and bond to have grown with him, and I'm really excited to see what's in store for him.
Man, that's awesome. It's got to be weird, because how far has it got from being out of recovery to becoming a wellness advocate? Like, is there a timeline? Because I've had people from, that I've worked with, and they go straight from TRICAP talking about, hey, I'm trying to become a recovery coach. I'm like, you just got out yesterday. Like, I don't understand where
there's a lot of that, because they meet us and they're like, oh, that's something I do. And
I see that all the time.
Addicts, sometimes, a lot of the times, we're on overdrive. So, like, we get into something like obsession and compulsion, like we want it. Take it to a whole nother level. Yeah. But there are protections around that. Most agencies, especially places like TRICAP that deal with government, there are requirements. Okay. I know TRICAP, you have to have 3 years clean.
3 years, okay.
And then to take the recovery coach training, which is the start, you have to be 18 months to 2 years clean to even qualify for that.
Okay, so that's good to know. That's something I can tell them, like, hey, 18 months.
And then, so the agency at Peer 360 that does they do a lot of the recovery coach trainings, but they have other like 1 and 2 day trainings if they are interested that they can take for free and sign up for. Okay. To sort of get some more background information and find out if it's actually for them.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've met so many people that like preach really good about recovery. Obviously, they're in TRICAP or in some kind of position of coming out of recovery, but they preach recovery like they've been recovered for 20 years. And I'm like, dang, bro. You like
Say,
you should follow your own advice.
You can answer this.
So because I went to either a rehab, a detox, or a crisis center like 37 times.
Yep.
So I talked a good game when I was in those places, and I fully believed what I was saying. But then you get out to real life, and you don't have the connections, you don't have the foundations, you're not doing what they told you to. You think you can do it your way, and
so that's what I'm saying. I be having questions, but she just answering them. So like, what the hell?
Sober living is a good suggestion for some of those people, so they don't fall short, because we like to call it a recovery bubble, and that's what kind of forms around you when you're in treatment. You're in a safe place. There's no drugs. You can't even, you don't have the option.
Yeah.
I mean, the door's not locked. You can walk out at any time, but like everything's supported and catered to help and keep you safe. And then after that, they try to go back home.
Yeah.
Or go to another place in a regular environment, and they have none of the tools or foundations or supports to even, because they just recovered in a bubble.
Yeah.
So sober living places them with other people trying to do the same thing they're doing, run by people who have done what they're doing. And then there's always at least the minimal structure with sober living is 3 to 5 meetings a week, introducing you to the recovery community and connections, and getting a program in the pathway of your choice, and getting you more influenced by those things. And outpatient is usually required as well, and then you have that accountability. You can get randomly dropped. And that's always in the back of your head at sober living, because like they don't do it just to annoy you, but if you start acting, with some of those addict behaviors and character defects, they might, go pee for me, let me see. So that's always in the back of your head, and it creates some sort of accountability. And then when you do pass those tests, I used to be when I was proud when I got dropped. Because I knew I passed.
Yeah, you weren't even worried.
Yeah. And then when you do pass, it's like, oh my God, I couldn't do this for over 20 years.
She knows she got you for real. Like, I know I did.
That's mine.
Still to this day, 4.5 years clean, I have to drop, and I get excited about it because.
Wow. No, that's a good feeling.
Yeah. Super proud of you. That's pretty cool to see people, overcome things that keep them in a dark place. Not keep them in a dark place, but have them in a dark place at that time. So, yeah, that's pretty cool to see. See you come out, not only come out, but help other people come out. So, kudos to you.
Thank you.
So I guess what's something that you would tell somebody who has a family member that's struggling with recovery or addiction? Like, what's something that you could help them, I guess, process this or process what they're going through? What's something you would tell
them? You can't control their recovery. They have to want it for themselves. What you can do is just keep that hope alive for them. Just keep that hope, because if you have hope for somebody you care about and you never let it die, then that's going to show up. Yeah. They're going to eventually, they may not recognize it now, it might not be next year, but eventually they're going to realize there's one person that they can always, at least even if it's just picking up that phone call and continuing to, if that's all you can do, and create boundaries everywhere else, that's that one thing. Those are the kind of people that are still in my life today that were in my life back then, that, I don't know, planted those seeds and eventually got me to stay. I like that. You just have to exist with people and meet them where they're at, not where you're at.
Yeah. Wait, real quick, like when you say meeting people where they at, far as like, what exactly do you mean, far as like when you're dealing with what clients or?
So it's like, my program now is a program of complete abstinence. from any substance of all kind. But like I said, a lot of the patients I deal with, sometimes it's about prevention from worse things happening or harm reduction. And I have to realize abstinence is part of my pathway, but it may not be theirs. And so if the most I can do is get them clean paraphernalia or a safe place to stay, or, you know, answer those phone calls when they're in unsafe situations and just talk them through it, that has to be enough.
Like you don't want to push the envelope a little bit. Like, hey, I think you should do this. You just kind of like flowing with them, going up for them. Okay. And where could they like? What are some good programs out there for people to get their foot in the door? It's like somebody who watching this that want to do it, but just don't really know even where to start.
Come see me at my Michigan in the emergency department, and literally tell any staff member there that they're thinking about getting clean.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even if they don't get admitted, all the staff member there will they'll end up with my phone number. And you can also look up Peer 360. That's another good place. They're part of the QR team and get around all over Saginaw for the ODs and stuff. And we're pretty stalkerish with our follow-up care.
Oh, I was going to ask how follow-up care looks. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
Cool.
No. Well, I guess as we wrap this up, is there anything you would want to say to like future peer support specialists, or like you said, obviously people who may be looking to do this? Anything that you'd want to let them know? People who may be interested, because, like you said, we need them.
Yes.
I said peer support. Then
if you are out there, you are thinking of doing this, please do it. You are more capable than you know. You've been on the inside of it. You understand it, and you are the person that is needed. That's actually going to help versus what's good on paper.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I definitely appreciate you dropping all these mental gems on us and the people listening, because this, man, even if this just helps one person, I feel like this entire podcast is worth it, because somebody needs to hear this message, and I'm just glad you were able to deliver it. We got to get you a
better person to
what better person to deliver it. And you guys, as you see, we had Miss Christina Cousins on here, a wealth advocate, just giving us her personal experiences in the field and what it takes to become one. If you got any more questions about becoming a wealth advocate, you can always reach out to Women of Colors. I'll post a link to Miss Evelyn McGovern, who is, I guess, the co-founder and president of Women of Colors. Who
you guess?
I don't know why I said yes. But the edit is no.
I guess she
the president, co-founder, whatever.
She might be my boss.
Whatever you want to call her. She do something here. You can email her. I'll post the link or the email to her at ewmtoday@AOL.com. You know, but no, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with us, and we look forward to talking to your other counterpart, Miss Kimberly. And hey, I guess we will catch y'all in the next What You Gotta Say podcast. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you got any comments who you want to see, or if you know anybody else that we should talk to, hey, tap in. Peace.
What you gotta say?